spider. I have to kill her.
Kill it. Where is it?
Please.
Kill it. Spiders.
That was some other shit. Anyway.
Michelle Peach wants you to know that after the reading with you, abundance came in and she appreciates you.
You're welcome, honey. You are welcome. It was my pleasure, honey. Yes, come on, abundance.
Okay.
I can't believe you brought up the student that was like, priestess. Never mind.
And so, priestess, remember that time you was like...
He was only a student for like 2 weeks.
Right? Don't fuck with me. Because I'm not to be fucked with. And then I learned, priestess, that some spirits are not to be fucked with. But then again, I know we're always being considered, so I might be fucked with one day.
And priestess, I remember that time you was like, uh-huh. And I said, yep, uh-huh.
And I was like, yep.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
Oh,
And I was like, uh-huh, right? That's right, fuck that shit. And he was like, and priestess, you were like, uh-huh, yeah, that's right. Fuck that shit, priestess. He said she was only there for 2 weeks. I thought she was there for longer than that.
Well, you know, she had kind of like disappeared and
Reappeared.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. You gotta take the mirrors down. I'm not comfortable with the mirrors. They have to be down.
The skeleton. Get the fuck out of here. It helps me to see the bad spirits.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to ask this question. What do clients' spiritual credit scores typically look like when you read for them during the Ancestral Life Path reading? What are some of the credit scores y'all have seen?
Oh, shit.
Are you starting over, like reintroducing, or are you just gonna clip it all together?
Clipping out of it.
Okay.
It's like part
Cool.
two, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if I had to give an answer to that question, I would say that most of the clients' spiritual credit score is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know, number one, that they are being considered. They don't know that there's any type of tracking or depository system that they even need to adhere to. So, ignorance, you know, who was it that said my people perish due to lack of knowledge? Was that Booker T. Washington?
Jesus.
Anyway, you know, people don't know what they don't know. But I think that for the most part, people, you know, are not working with their ancestors at all. They are being very selfish with the blessings that they're receiving, not paying it forward, not trying to make deposits for their descendants or people coming after them, you know, which is really troubling because even in Christianity, where most of us as Africans in America fall under, we've been raised under Christianity, most people, you know, read the Bible. And even the Bible says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. But we don't think about that. You know, I talk to girls and they're more concerned, like, you know, Hugon said, they're living in poverty, you know, car on his last leg, and they willing to spend $1,000 to do work on some dude that's not even worthy of their attention, much less, you know, their funds, their money.
Oh, yeah. I have people in my old Facebook group that was more concerned about doing binding work or love work, putting jars on people.
I'm so sick of jars.
Girl, fuck them jars. But putting spells and binding them using blood. So buying people, then working with their ancestors.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question about a 430. It's a credit score. I most likely
430.
430 about a credit score. I start with because most people are ignorant. And then a lot of education comes with the Ancestral Life Path reading because you need to understand the importance of working with your ancestors. And so most people don't even know the fucking importance of working with their ancestors. So they found 430 average.
Well, I've recognized some very low credit scores as well because of what we answered earlier, which, you know, when we were talking about why is it that, you know, we as a people, as an African people, may not know about the ancestral treasury. And so then it was leading me to think about the spiritual credit scores that we typically hear about, because people want to know, what do my ancestors think of me? What is the message from my ancestors, so on and so forth. And oftentimes in our ancestral life path readings, or our readings in general, we're talking about people working at a deficit. I can think probably maybe every 2 weeks we have a discussion about, like, oh, I had this client and they were basically okay. I thought they were going to be bad, but they were good. They were somebody I would want to mentor under. Someone I would want them to mentor under me. I'm sorry. And I don't often see that. I actually see that a lot of people are suffering from ignorance, that their treasuries are depleted due to not just a lack of obedience, but just a lack of openness to spirit. And what I mean by that is that the things that I'm telling them, where I can say something to me is mundane as, you hear these things in your head, but you don't act on them. You've heard the messages from your friends, but you don't do anything. And so I'm saying these mundane things that are resonating with them in these very deep ways, which lets me know that these people are working at a deficit. A deficit because of their lack of openness. They haven't, through the series of experiences that they've had, they're not sensitized to the multiple ways that spirit will speak to them. So, when it comes to the original question, I would like to think that in the ancestral life path readings, the credit scores that I've typically worked with are fixable.
Yeah.
In very rare circumstances have I met someone that is like, it's fixable, but you need to do this other thing because you literally have filed for bankruptcy and we have to start back over. Under those circumstances, we have to do intense spiritual work. We have to do, in particular, it's ancestral. Or it could be that your ancestors had worked with a particular patron deity, they stopped doing it, and now we need to teach you how to rehearse what they didn't do. Has it happened to you?
Well, it hasn't happened to me through clients of Black Spectrum Network, but it's so interesting because my Aluo was just speaking about this a few days ago, and he talked about, what he essentially was talking about was generational curses. And he was talking about people going to destructive energies to power work that they may want to have done. So, for example, a love spell. He was actually talking about money magic. And he was talking about this case where a young man, this was in Nigeria, was found with the breast of a woman in his possession.
And they turned into
they had killed this woman and
turned her into pound of yam.
Listen to the story.
I'm sorry.
They had killed this woman and taken her and cut her breast off, and they were intending to use the breast for money magic. So there's a particular type of money magic, that you can do with that. And what he was saying was the spirits that you have to work with to do that type of work are spirits that you must continue to appease, because when you wake them up, they're going to continue.
They're going to continue to
come to you. And so if you die, when you die, because we're all going to die, they're going to come to your bloodline looking for that repayment. Looking for you to appease them. And that is how we get bloodline, one of the ways that we get bloodline curses, and people don't even know it. So the energies, and the other thing is that people need to understand, it's not the Babalawo who does that work for you. It's not the priestess who does that work for you that the spirit is coming to looking for payment. It's your ass.
It sure is. They're going to come straight to you.
Because you're the one who benefited from it. They're bound to you and your bloodline and your descendants. But then again, the good book, Priestess Beach Blossom, tells us that the sins of the father will revisit the children for what? 6 generations.
Woo! Yes, doctor.
So
6 generations.
So a lot of what we see as bankruptcy is actually just generational curses, just obligations and debts that have to be paid and cleansed, and they can be paid and cleansed. You can send those spirits away. You can put them back where they belong, but you have to know, first of all, that that's what you're dealing with, and then you have to know how to do it. You can't find out how to do it in a Facebook group, and you can't find out how to do it on YouTube.
Sure can't.
And so you can be a sovereign spiritual citizen, or whatever these hoes are calling themselves, and be walking around here bankrupt like a motherfucker, not able to conjure, to manifest, to produce a darn thing for yourself or probably anybody else. Or if you do, it's $90 at a time. But you out here trying to teach somebody how to do things.
And that's why that's why a lot of times when we get when I get readings, I'm having to break down a lot of the stuff that they've been taught. Because this bullshit. Where did you get your information from? I'm having to reteach and just, oh, my ancestors smoked alcohol, duh. But you didn't know that because you listened to somebody in a damn Facebook group who just is on there doing some shit because it sounds good and his spirituality is trendy. But I digress.
Spiritual credit scores. To answer the original question, I've not. It's maybe. I'm surprised when I see a high one.
Yeah, I am.
It's not rare to see a high one, but it's because of the work we do. We're surprised when we do. It's not rare, but we're surprised.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will book readings with us that are not ancestral life path readings. You know. That leads me into having this question. Do you think white or European descent people have more currency in their collective ancestral treasury than other races?
No.
I'm going to run to the restaurant. I'm going to let y'all talk about that real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you all think that's true? No? Yes?
No.
Not really.
I don't think that they have more. I think that they may be more aware of their ancestry.
Yeah, they're not scared to.
I think they have more pride in their ancestry because they've been allowed to have it and explore it. They can tell you, oh, I'm from Scotland. I'm from, my ancestors are Welsh. My ancestors are, Irish or whatever.
Germany.
Yeah, I think that they have more ancestral pride.
They can raise that ugly ass Confederate flag.
But I don't think that they necessarily have more. What I do think they have is more wealth in the physical world because of energy that they have commandeered and stolen. I actually think that what awaits them on the other side is poverty and punishment. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I don't think that they have more treasury. It's just they have stolen so much and have benefited so much. America is able to be as great as it is because of
400 years of free labor.
Fucking labor.
It's just mathematics. I hate it when people don't understand what disenfranchisement means or why, the descendants of slaves have a hard time, catching up. Because we have to pay the people that work for us.
Yeah.
Because we have to buy the land that we live on. We didn't get to steal it from Native Americans.
No.
We had to actually buy it, and we have to pay taxes on it while also being public enemy number one. We have to buy the land that we live on. We have to pay taxes on it. We have to go get jobs where they don't really want to work with us. All the while trying to stay alive and not get killed in a routine traffic stop.
All the while trying to stay alive and not get killed from simply just fucking jogging.
Right. So
Yeah,
I think that their wealth is disproportional in the physical world. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Just because of the stolen labor and stolen land, that they live on and that they occupy. But I think that what awaits them in the spiritual world is probably, poverty and punishment. Yeah.
So the mass global wealth that European descent people have, the mass amounts of geographic land that they owned,
It's physical.
those physical means are not representative of their spiritual means.
I don't think so. I think that
When you read for your white clients, is that true?
gosh. I really feel like it's a slippery slope. I hesitate to answer that because I have read for. See, what I will say is that white people and Europeans. I read for Europeans who were not American people. They are more in touch with their ancestry. They have a natural reverence for their ancestry. You know, they may have an ancestral coat of arms that hangs over their fireplace. You know, they can tell you that they are 6th generation Irish American. You know, or they can tell you that their great grandfather came over on a boat from Sicily. You know, they're more in tune with their ancestors, and so because of that, I think that they do experience blessings that translate into physical manifestations. But there are certain spiritual laws that exist that no man can escape. And one of those is death.
Yeah.
And so that's why you see these Hollywood types, you know, doing all types of rituals. You know, I just read some stuff on Facebook the other day, and I don't believe much of what I read on Facebook, but evidently this is something that people have been talking about for years. I mentioned it to you. That lady, what's her name? She's supposed to be an artist. I can't think of her name. Huh? No, there's a lady that's an artist. I think she's European. She may be American, but I think she's European. And they were saying that like Jay-Z and Beyonce and people like that.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Spirit Cooker.
Yeah, her.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah. This lady, they're saying that she participates openly in these rituals where people die.
I'm 100%.
And end up missing, you know, after her. And she calls herself an artist, a performance artist, and so she will do an artist. She'll do an exhibition where the person may appear to be being painted in some way or bound in some way, and there's this whole show that goes around this person, and then later the person turns up missing.
Right, and there was a
conspiracy.
There was missing. You know, something about that name, Pizza Hut, in the state capitol. I'm not gonna say which one. It was, a state capital. Can't remember. It was.
But they've been a lot of different things have been linked to this
photographs
type of stuff, and so I'm bringing it up only
blood rituals.
I'm bringing it up only because of
Lady Gaga.
The rituals, and people trying to stay alive and stay youthful and maintain their beauty and things like that. So death is something that we cannot escape.
No, not at all.
Unless you're Papa Justified Mama Cecile.
Yes. Unless you do them two motherfuckers, because they showed to you.
What is that?
Help, Lord.
Oh.
The Skeleton Kid.
Help, Lord.
You gotta watch it with us.
You gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it with us.
You gotta watch it.
Okay.
Come now, Lord. Carry on.
Okay, the next question is, do prayers and offerings to Jesus Christ grow the value of the ancestral treasury?
Who the priestess does it?
It is important.
Does Jesus take offerings?
Yes. He actually does. It is. So what I run into is that a lot of people, including myself, is just like, fuck Jesus. Fuck everything he stands for. We've been lied to. Blah, blah, blah. But what you need to understand is that a lot of your ancestors were actually Christian.
Yeah. And
they actually did pray to Jesus. And so there is not only a respect that goes there, but if you're going to work with him, because in Hoodoo we do work with him, you do need to leave offerings. Hence the reason why if you're in my mentorship program, you're going to have to take your ass to church. Yeah, you got to leave an offering. Yeah, you do if you want him to work with you. But yes, it gives you credit. It gives you favor to your ancestors that did worship Jesus. Sometimes I will play I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
Fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. 'Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline